Hello. Yes. Okay. There we go. Microphone's working. Forgot I had restarted my computer, which meant I needed to restart my microphone. It works now. Yay. Anyways, how we doing, Sprout? Talking about stuff today. Just waiting for more people to get in so we can start talking about stuff. Awesome. 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 Good. 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 I gotta move one of my waters over. There we go. Have something to drink. Yes, you are here first. It changes. It changes all the time. Just like my schedule. Start at 10 to 10:30 on Tuesdays now. EST time. What up, Adams? How we doing? Hola. Ah. So the rest of the time, still 12:30 ish. Depends on how work goes. So Thursday, Friday, 12:30 p.m. or a.m. to about 3. Then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 12:30 p.m. or a.m. 12:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. EST, and then same 12:30 to 3 on Monday, but Tuesday will be 10 to 3. What up, Sprout? What up, Anims? What up? What? How's everybody doing today? Father, Father, Father. What does the title mean? It means we're going to be talking about continuity versus canonicity versus fandom versus hot garbage. It's a video that I wanted to make, so I'm going to pre-test the waters on it by talking about it tonight. Really trying to go deep in explanation on what they all mean with Fnaf. So, like I said, I'm gonna get into it in a second. I'm just trying to give it a good 10 minutes or whatnot to let as many people get in as possible so we can start getting into it. But yeah, no, the title, I'm going to talk about the title, so clearly I will explain what I mean when we get into it. I'm just trying to give you guys some extra time to get in here. So we got everybody. As many people as possible, but yeah. Because it's something that I'm noticing. I'm noticing a lot in, like, again, the Reddit, no matter how many times. Oh, remember Dabs. What about Dabs? If Dabs is in, no, I mean, that's cool, but Dabs doesn't have to show up every time I stream. It's nice. It's a nice thing when she can, but I sub to her and they like, oh, yeah, her. Dabs is a her. Chaos is a he, I believe. I mean, unless they have gone more fluid, but I think they're both she, her, and a he, him. I am he, him. He, him, his, whatever. Most people I just say they because I don't like to guess, and I like they them. They work so well for everybody and anybody. I don't have to worry about it once I do that, because most people are not upset when you say they them to them. Five. She's 5. Kindergarten. Welcome back, Adams. Oh yeah, I figured this out last time I streamed. Hold on. No swinging. Hold on. Bring it up more. Ooh. There we go. See, what if I do action. There we go. Perfect. All right, there we go. Oh, hold on. I just turn it this way more. Or actually, I just scoot it back more. There we go. All right, should be good. Should be good. Just like that. I can babysit. I don't think you live anywhere near me to be able to babysit. Whew. Yeah. 5-year-old children are pretty, they're pretty energetic. What's going on, people? Might be about time. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes to try and get a couple more people in here before I really start going into the title. But, like I said, I will preference this with, this is a video idea I've been bouncing around in my head. It's on the list, the list. I wish I had that. Wish I had the full finished graphic yet. Dabs is working on it, but I'm not worried about it being done anytime soon. But yeah, so I have a big list that I'll be working on. Brother Anim said, "I can't imagine the energy." Yeah, I saw that. I kind of responded to it. So I said, "Oh, I can. I babysit." Oh, you said that you. Okay, I can. I babysit. Okay, you were responding to them. 90% of the time, chat is not responding to itself. You guys are usually just talking to me and ignoring each other. So, but yeah, at about 10 minutes, we'll start actually talking about what I want to talk about. So if people don't show up by then, you know, it is what it is. They miss out. Because I don't know. The problem is I don't think it's as enticing of a, I don't think it's as enticing of a subject as some other things are. But I like it. What up, Michael? How we doing? So it's something that, the problem is I think that actually is the problem with the theory community, is that it isn't as enticing of a topic as it should be. And so it causes a lot of miscommunication or misunderstanding on how theorizing is supposed to work. And it causes people to have, one, not just theories, but objections to theories that don't hold water because the way that they disprove a theory or object to a theory isn't correct, I guess is the way. It isn't strong. It isn't strong evidence correction-wise. So, yeah, let's just get into it. Let's get into it. So what I'm talking about today is a video idea. Like, I'm going to go into even more depth on I'm probably going to go into more depth here than I would in a video, but I'm going to be more concise with an actual video, whereas with this, it's just going to be more freeball and it's more improv kind of explanations and stuff like that. Like, I won't be going into, like, specificalities, like actual quotes from Scott or other things like that to really explain it, or going into, I might go into other examples of like other other media, right? Other IPs that do similar things. But so the main thing that I want to talk about is FNAF, continuity, canonicity, fandoms, and just plain garbage / rumors. So what I mean by that is, like, okay, so what up, radio? So canonicity is a specific timeline of events and things that belong to that specific timeline of events. The best known one of the FNAF universe is the game continuity. You know, games 1 through 7, Help Wanted 1 and 2, Security Breach, and Ruin. There are other games that may or may not be connected, but those are the ones that we know for sure are a straight line through. They are all connected to each other. The week before has confirmed its canonicity to the games, and the logbook is pretty much confirmed to be game canonicity. So what that means is that all of them are tied together. Information that you find in them should be consistent through all of them, and they connect together. So if, so for instance, FNAF 2 told us, so FNAF 1 tells us of a murder of children. FNAF 2 tells us that murder happened with a yellow suit. FNAF 3 then expands on that by letting us know that it was a golden rabbit. And then we meet Golden Rabbit. FNAF 4 lets us know that there was an incident prior to all of that in 1983. 1983, that was a different yellow suit doing damage to another kid, um, which FNAF 4 also tells us that kid had an older brother who bullied him, and that was the reason for it. FNAF 5 expands on that by letting us know that the person who did the murders was the guy named William Afton. I feel like I'm in a college lecture. Should I be taking notes? If you want to, that's fine, right? So, but you can see like all of these games build off of each other. They give us more information about this main cast of characters, these main events that happen, and you can take information from one and fill in the blanks from the others that went before it. This is continuity. There is a continuation of information between them that can all be used against each other. That's what continuity is, and that's our main continuity in this universe. Is there is a game continuity, and it exists in one straight line. Everything that happens in one is based off of something else, and it's all continuous, and it all makes sense, right? But then we move into canonicity. So canonicity, it wasn't until the Silver Eye series came out. English, yeah. I know this is fast, but can I add you on Discord? Oh, yeah. Anyways, but then a little bit after Game 4 came out, we got the Silver Eyes series. The Silver Eyes was a trilogy of books that was a retelling, a reimagination of the very first pizzeria and the events that happened there, the MCI events. Now, this is a brand new continuity, but it still takes place in the FNAF universe. So, what we call this is that all the events in the books are now canon events to the FNAF multiverse. They are continuity events to that trilogy of books, which starts with Silver Eyes and ends with the Fourth Closet. Now, what Scott explained with that book series, and it was this one time until very recently that he was very open, upfront, and understanding, very, very concise with his explanation that these books are not game continuity. They are a whole new universe in the FNAF multiverse. So they have their own continuity. So anything in the books can technically be parallel to the games, but there is no guarantees that any information in the books are actually connected to the games. And that's one thing that people are forgetting. Now, yes, Scott went ahead and he used the name of the killer in the Silver Eye series and gave it to our purple guy, who then became William Afton, and that was confirmed in the games. Like that's the part that people seem to forget when it comes to the Silver Eyes series, right? From those 3 books, that the information that we did get from those books that carries on into the games is information that's confirmed by Scott in the games, right? So when you look at the information that we got in those books and what was confirmed in the games is we got Charlie and her becoming the puppet instead of being an animatronic girl. She's actually a kill by William Afton, who then becomes the puppet. But we got her name confirmed in FNAF 6. It's confirmed by Henry that his daughter's name is Charlie, and that's who the puppet is. We also got William's name. That was confirmed in Sister Location. That William Afton is the name of the owner of Fazbear's, or the head of engineering, or whatever you want to call him. He is William Afton, and he is the killer. We got that confirmation. We learned of Susie being Chica, and that is confirmed in the games, that Susie is Chica. We got that confirmation in FNAF 6. What we did not get confirmations of in games from book is Cassidy. We got confirmation that there is a Cassidy in the games from the logbook. We didn't get confirmation that Cassidy is a black-haired girl. And that's one of the things that I try to explain to people, that we got confirmation from the logbook, which is continuity to the games, that there are 2 names to 2 characters that we know for sure from the games: Vengeful Spirit and Crying Child. We got the names Dave and Cassidy. Well, because Cassidy was used in the fourth closet, one as the girl who possesses Bonnie, not Golden Freddy, not Vengeful, none of that. She's just the girl that takes over Bonnie, because that name Cassidy is used to imply a black-haired girl who takes over Bonnie. People for some reason now believe that that has to be a girl spirit taking over Vengeful Spirit. William Afton might come back, but there's no confirmation of that fact. Like, it's given, a name is given in Fourth Closet to a character that is not the same character that may have that name in the games. And my counteract to that, when people say, "Well, Cassidy has to be this blah 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 blah," well, I think Cassidy is William Afton's son, Crying Child. I don't think it's Vengeful Spirit. I don't think Cassidy is Vengeful Spirit. I think Vengeful Spirit's name is Dave. And until Scott himself confirms that that's how the names are supposed to go in the logbook, I will continue to believe that. And actually, I would actually argue that the fourth closet backs me up more than it backs up other people. Because other people think, oh, black-haired girl, she's now Vengeful Spirit, blah, 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 blah. No, 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 no. Because we have to remember one other thing. There is another character's name that's used in the books that is supposed to be an Afton, but is not an Afton, because William only has one child in the Silver Eye series. I believe Elizabeth does exist in the Silver Eye series, and that's but there's two other children of his that he has in the games that he doesn't have in the books, and I believe both their names got repurposed into other characters. First one being Mike, who now becomes Golden Freddy in the books, and the other kid, Cassidy, who may be gender swapped in the books, obviously, but is still an Afton name being used in the books. We also have the name Dave. Dave, I believe, is the name of the Vengeful Spirit and William Afton's first kill. And Dave is also the name that William Afton uses as his fake alias in the Silver Eye series. And the only time that we see victims of William Afton being, like, their names being used is by Michael or William posing as security guards. Michael uses his own name but a different last name. Then he uses Jeremy. Then we believe William might have used Fritz, and then we have Dave Miller in the book series. I think this evidence backs me up more, because that puts two Afton names as two of the spirits in the books and replaces two other names, but then it also takes a William victim name and gives it to William posing as a security guard. This all backs up things that we see in the games themselves, or what we see transpire between the book and the game, right? So, but anyways, so I got off track by basically defending my own theory. Anyways, so continuity is anything that happens within the game timeline or the book timelines, depending on what we're talking, what theory you're trying to do, what you're trying to solve. And I think that's another issue with the theorist community, is that we are all hyper focused on only solving the game timeline, and we're focused on using the books and other media to answer only the game continuity questions, but we're not thinking of anything else. And you guys are gonna have to give me a minute. I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry. Alright, what's going on, everybody? I'm back. Alright, next time I leave, I'll try to make sure that I leave you guys maybe something to watch. Maybe I'll put my chair up and try and get all them to sit on it or something. Who knows? Anyways, you guys still there? Thank you guys so much for waiting. I think we were at 5 when I came back and I dropped again. Sorry, guys, it happens. Okay. Sometimes you gotta go do stuff. You know? Anyways. Alright. Are we ready for class to begin? Hopefully. Anyways, so what I was talking about was continuity, canonicity, all that good stuff. So with the Silver Eye series coming out, we got the second continuity. And so now we have two different continuities. We have game continuity and we have a book continuity. We have Silver Eye's continuity. Two different continuities. They're both canon in the FNAF universe. So it's like thinking about like a good example is like the MCU multiverse or just the Marvel multiverse, right? So if you look at like a very good example, Spider-Man. Spider-Man has tons of different continuities, so much continuity because they've established that there's multiple universes. You know, there's Earth 616, there's Earth 313, there's Earth 1045. You know, Earth 1, Earth 87. You know, there's all these different universes that can cross over at any time, but they also share a lot of canon events. Most Spider-Man universes will have a Peter Parker bit by a radioactive spider becoming Spider-Man. That's very common. You know, it's a very common canon event for multiple universes, that when you go to another universe, you go from one universe to another, that it is almost a safe bet to assume that Peter Parker was bit by a radioactive spider. But the kicker is when it happens. Sometimes Peter Parker is bit as a freshman in high school and becomes and gets bit and becomes Spider-Man like Tom Holland. Other times he'll get bit in his senior year of high school, like like Tobey Maguire. Sometimes it'll be in college. Sometimes it'll be middle of high school. Sometimes he'll be a full-grown ass man. But the point is he almost always. Have you ever wondered Godzilla and Into the Pit references in Audible? I mean, no, not really, because Godzilla was a popular franchise back in the 70s, 80s, and whatnot. And so if Oswald likes old movies and his dad likes old movies, then it would make sense that Godzilla would be one of those references. Kaiju was very popular way back in the day. But anyways, so it's a safe bet that a canon event like Peter Parker being bit by a spider would happen in multiple universes. Just like it is a safe bet to assume that a William Afton or William Afton stand-in for Freddy, for any universe that Freddy Fazbear's exists, a dead children's incident also exists. But not every single one of them is going to have the same specifics. Like with our Spider-Man example, Spider-Man in 616 turns into Spider-Man end of high school, but Spider-Man 313 beginning of high school. You see how those differ? Those are year differences. Same thing can happen with our Fazbear, MCI, DCI, and other murder events. You know, in one universe, Charlie is kidnapped at 3, and that's our Silver Eye series. Charlie is kidnapped and killed at the age of 3. Kidnapped from Fredbear's family diner by William Afton while they're partners, and then dies for some reason. While in the FNAF game continuity, Charlie manages to live all the way till she's like 7 or 10 or whatnot, and is killed in a fit of rage by William Afton and left to rot just outside of the pizzeria, versus he tried to kidnap her to like keep her or something like that, and it like through a crazy accident she died, right? So we see between these two continuities, these two different continuities, a canon event that is Charlie dying occurring at different times. You know, and because of them occurring at different times, then you have to start to wonder what else is different and how, you know, trying to rely on the books and saying that something in the book happening is guaranteed to be game is a lie. You know, that's you're frankly just deciding that it helps you be right and someone else be wrong, and so you're being stubbornly aggressive towards that fact, and it's not fact, right? But then we have other things like fan made games like The Joy of Creation and other games like that that are very good games. They're made by amazing game creators, but some people actually it's a very rare few, but there are some people who actually think that games like The Joy of Creation, because they were funded by the FNAF, the FNAF game funds or whatever it was called, that means that they could potentially be canon or continuity also because they were made under the approval of Scott to use Freddy characters. And I would say to anyone going towards that, you have to imagine that those are the farthest fringe of the FNAF universe canonicity, right? Like, it could be a universe in the FNAF multiverse, but it probably has almost no lore bearings on the other games, and only the other continuities can have a lore bearing on it. Those are fan-made games. They have nothing to do with Scott or his story, other than them retelling the elements that he's already confirmed. Why does it say I have 77 notifications? That's weird. Holy bejesus. Okay. Sorry, I had to look at that. That was really weird. I had 77 notifications on YouTube. Realized it was a bunch of my own stuff. Anyways, and then there's hot garbage. So hot garbage is things like when I posted that Dave versus Cassidy name swap video, someone in the comments, which I removed it because honestly, if you're just so far off base that it makes no sense and you're basically just running off of a headcanon that has never been proven, I kind of just removed you because I didn't like that murking the waters, per se. It was a person saying that Crying Child is named Chris, and they've been a fan for so long that they won't be told by other people that they're wrong. So I was like, I'm just going to remove your comment because that is a fan-made name way back before we had any indication of what Crying Child's name might be, and this person is just being thick-headed and deciding to stick with a name that was never confirmed, never suggested in the books or anything else, and is just plain garbage. And that's about all I need to say about garbage/rumor. If it has no basis in the games, the books, or the movies, then it's rumor, and if it's rumor, it's not true. If it does turn out to be true, that's because the person actually used evidence from the books or movies or game and didn't realize it or something like that. But if a person tells you something as fact but can't point to it anywhere, then it's rumor. And if it's rumor, it's not useful and you just need to forget about it. Now, again, we can go back to game continuity and canonicity. Like, anything that is not game continuity will be in different continuity, and there's multiple continuities. Now Scott did say when the Silver Eye series came out that it was going to be a different continuity. It would still be canon, but it wouldn't be game continuity. It would be its own separate timeline. And some people ignore it now when it comes to everything other than the Silver Eyes because they think that he specifically meant Silver Eyes. But he did say recently in a new conversation, what up, Berserk? He did say in a new interview with Dawko that happened recently, only a couple months back, that some of the Fazbear Frights and Pizzaplex short stories were just horror story ideas that he came up with in his head, that he banged out a script for, that he thought would do good as a horror story, expanded them a little bit, and then put them in the books. Doing pretty good. We're talking about continuity versus canonicity versus fan made and rumor slash garbage. Fan made and rumor slash garbage are pretty easy explanations. If the game isn't made by Scott or directly told by Scott to be made by a company, it's fan made. Like Joy of Creation is the biggest example I can give, and they have no weight on the games when it comes to information and lore, but the games should have weight on it for its lore. So you can never get the answers to a question from the fan made games, right? If you're looking at the game and you're like, oh, there's some things pointing towards this character being named Joffrey, right? And you're looking through the books for another character named Joffrey that matches, or looking through the other games to find Joffrey somewhere, but you're not finding it. But then you see it in a fan-made game that a character's name is Joffrey, and you try and make that connection. That doesn't work. You can't do it. You can't back up your theory with fan-made games, period. And then there's also rumor slash garbage. Rumor slash garbage is just, we didn't have the answer to a question, so someone decided to make up a name or make up information, such as one that I got recently and I removed the comment was someone tried to claim that Cassidy and Dave were not the right names, and that Crying Child's name is Chris, and it has been Chris for a very long time, and there are old Fnaf fans, so they know and they won't be told otherwise. So I removed it because Chris has never been a name. It was a headcanon name that some person somewhere made up one time, and then it got used in some rando videos. Oh, fan made videos too. The fan made videos, those cannot be made for lore. All right, those animation videos that you see online or the songs, none of that can be used for theorizing. Period. Plain and simple. It's not an argument to be made. If it's made by fans and not sanctioned by Scott to be made, under his instruction and his like, hey, this is what needs to be included and not included, then it doesn't count. It's a fan-made thing. It has no lore significance to it. It does not exist in the canonicity of the universe, and it's garbage. Well, it's not garbage, but it's not useful. You can't use it for theorizing. The only things you can use is the things that Scott has made himself, which is the games, the books, and the movies that he specifically himself agreed to have created. Anyways, as I was talking about earlier, the interview with Scott, he did say that the Fazbear Fright books and the Pizzaplex books are going to have stories in them that were just horror stories that he thought sounded like a good idea, that just came to his head one day, that he banged out his script for, turned it into a book and all that, and turned it into short stories, added it to the series. Does not make them game continuity. Now, there are game continuity books and short stories out there, but one, it's really hard to fully prove it, and honestly, it's safer to just assume that it's not game continuity than to assume that it is. Because to assume that it is game continuity will take you on a run that may stunt your ability to theorize something, right? There are some that will fit very well, or in what I hope he starts doing more often will be very blatant about whether or not they're game connected. So for instance, the week before literally says on the book itself, on the cover, this story takes place a week before the FNAF 1 events. You play as Ralph the phone guy. Like, I mean, it doesn't say those exact words, but it says something basically like that. This is literally what happened the week before the game comes out. So it basically says this is full game continuity. Now, we have another book coming up soon, Return to the Pit. I personally don't believe that Into the Pit game or book or short story or the Stitch line, any of that is game continuity. I believe it's its own continuity. I believe the Stitch line is its own continuity, just like the Silver Eyes is its own continuity. And I believe that Into the Pit game is creating a new game continuity, right? So canon games, so we have both game continuity games, but we also have canon games. So FNAF World, it's a toss up. Some people believe that it's full game continuity. Some people believe that it's canon, game canon, which means you can get some of the events that happen in the game connect to the actual game timeline, but that doesn't mean the full game actually exists in the game continuity. It just means that some elements of it could be differentially represented in that game. Same thing with Security Breach Fury's Road or Fury's Rage or whatever it is. The Freddy in Space 1, 2, and 3. You know, all of FLAF, the 5 Laps of Freddy's, those are all canon games. You know, they all exist within the multiverse, but they're not continuity to the actual games. They're an offshoot. They're like either the arcade games that you can see in the games in the books, or they exist as, you know, something like that. But they are not actual game continuity, and they can give information that may not be 100% accurate, but kind of like points at something or gives like background information about something, or kind of like is like, this is how it happened in this universe kind of situation, right? It's the same thing with the books. The books are canon events in the multiverse, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are directly connected to the games. A lot of them don't have any real evidence to tell you that they happen in the game. Like the man in room 1280. That I do not believe is game continuity. I believe it is a retelling of Ultimate Custom Night in a different fashion. Instead of, so we see Ultimate Custom Night in William Afton's head. I think the room, the man in room 1280 is kind of like showing what that would have looked like outside of William Afton, but doesn't feature the same exact characters. There is no guarantee of an Andrew in that game. I mean, in the games. But we also know that Andrew is part of the Stitch line continuity, which really makes me believe that it is not game continuity because it lines up with a different continuity, in my opinion. I believe that Stitch line is its own continuity. And I believe that it is, the Stitch line continuity is a retelling of the FNAF 2 events and a continuation of it. You know, Into the Pit shows shows an agony memory version of what happened at FNAF 2 location. Now I know again it's not the same number of murdered children, but we don't have an event of 6 murdered children in the games or in the games, in the movies, or anywhere else. The 6 kids instead of 5 is what we're dealing with Into the Pit, which, who knows? It could be 6 because we have the 5 actual victims' agony, and then maybe we also still have agony from from Charlie's puppet, or from Golden Freddy, who's been transferred over there, or whatever. We don't know. All we know is that there is agony memories attached to the blood that's on the balls in the pit, and that causes Oswald to be able to fall into an agony memory of the events of the murder happening. And in the book, it's different than in the game also, because in the book, these are memories that last for an entire summer that he continues to delve into, while in the game, we are visiting for like 4 days at the very end of summer / the beginning of the school year, and dealing with dealing with the same kind of situation, with the same situation. Whew. And that's why I think the epilogues of each of the epilogues of the 2 books are new continuities. And I think Into the Pit, the game, is starting a game continuity timeline for the Stitch Wraith timeline that we get in the Fazbear Frights books. But then we have other one-offs that are their own entities, their own timelines kind of situation. So we know, so like the Fazgoos, I think those are like single continuity kind of situations. Maybe they might be part of Stitch Line or Piece of Flex, whatever. But then we also have ones that are probably definitely one-offs, like the Bonnie baby one, where Bonnie impregnates a guy named Matthew. The Sea Bonnies. The title versus Hot Garbage. Well, Hot Garbage is like the rumor slash, things that people made up way back in the day and have just decided not to let die. Dude, I like that message. You can keep that message, Krulu. I don't care. But no, like I think that was a good way to put it. Some people are just like, this is what I believe because this is what we thought up way back in the day, and I think that's just right. And I'm gonna pretend like it's right, and you can't change my mind on that. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. You are completely fucking wrong, but whatever. So Hot Garbage is like the rumor stuff. Like Crying Child used to be named Chris, right? It's like there's nowhere in the games that implies that Crying Child's name is Chris. Not in the books, not in the movie, no, nowhere. But yeah. Oh, and the movie. So the movie is its own continuity now too. The movies will have their own continuity, and this one is again one that is announced by Scott, that the movie is its own continuity, right? So when something is guaranteed to be a new continuity, it's canon, but it is not game continuity. It's its own timeline. Then information from it, unless it is backed up in the games, is not game continuity. There's this big push by a lot of people to argue that Vengeful Spirit is Garrett, and that's just wrong. Now at this point, we know for a fact that Vengeful Spirit's name is either Dave or Cassidy. I will let you have either one of those names for those two characters. If you want to call him Dave Afton instead of Cassidy Afton, I think you're wrong, but I'm fine with that. If you try and tell me that their name is Andrew or Garrett or whatever or Chris, you're just wrong at this point because the logbook has told us Dave and Cassidy. Those are our names. Those are the two that you get to work with. Make your decision. Everything else is a different continuity, right? There is no Andrew and there is no Garrett in the game continuity. They might be other characters that come up at some point, but they're not the names of Crying Child or Vengeful Spirit, and they never will be. Those names have been established well before they were even put in the other books. I'm pretty sure, anyways. What about Evan? Shut up, Dabs. No, Evan was debunked a long time ago. Evan was debunked a long time ago. Evan was a forced name. Dave, on the other hand, is not forced, and it makes sense because you utilize the mirror. I again personally believe, and I've gone through this many times on stream, and I've went through it kind of on the name swap video. If you haven't watched that yet, guys, go watch it. If you guys haven't subbed to the channel yet, make sure you guys do that too. We're trying to get to 600, and we're 2 away. And we've been on 2 away for way too long. Anyways, yeah, I've gone through it before. You guys can go watch the video on it. But, I mean, for a quick breakdown now, I believe Cassidy's name is for Crying Child because of the main fact that the clues to get the name Cassidy are both altered text and Michael giving the clues, and I don't see why Michael and the Crying Child Spirit would be giving the name to Vengeful Spirit when they would be trying to remember their own name, and I don't know why Vengeful Spirit would be giving Crying Child their name, which is how you get their name, get the name Dave, is by the page numbers associated with the faded text questions. So, and here's my big thing on that also, is that I don't think it's either of those spirits actually giving their name. I think it's Scott using what they did in the book to get their names. Right? I don't think that, and some people are like, well, my name appears on every page of clues for Cassidy, but it doesn't. It only shows up on like half of the pages. There's at least 2 pages that you get the clue for Cassidy's name from that do not have my name on it, and even if, even though they do appear, it could just be, Scott using both characters to get to certain points, because the word search does say, "It's me, Cassidy. Who are you? What is your name?" And then on the other page, you have to put Dave backwards in the mirror to get Dave. So it goes altered text saying, "It's me, Cassidy. Who are you? What is your name?" Faded text replying on the very next page, Dave. Or, "What do you see with his name backward, with their name backwards?" Dave. So to me, that tells me that faded text is named Dave and altered text is named Cassidy. Again, if you want to do the other way around, I get it, and I understand why some people block that off as being they have to be the other way, and a lot of it is because of what I was talking about earlier. People misunderstanding how continuity and canonicity works. The big reason for Cassidy being Vengeful Spirit is because Cassidy is a character in the Silver Eyes trilogy who possesses Bonnie. So apparently that means that they're supposed to be the Vengeful Spirit because the names match. I don't know. People think that Vengeful Spirit is supposed to be a girl, even though every version of Vengeful Spirit that we know of in the books are all boys. I don't know, man. Apparently it makes sense to people. It doesn't to me, but it does to other people, apparently. But Vengeful Spirit is a boy in the movies. Vengeful Spirit appears to be a boy in the games by the fact that they are referred to as a he. They are a picture of Scott's own son. They, I mean, just multiple reasons why you would believe that Vengeful Spirit would be a boy. They're even a boy. Like Golden Freddy's spirit in Silver Eyes is a boy. The Vengeful Spirit in the man in room 1208 or 1280, is it 1208 or 1280? It doesn't matter. Anyways, the man in the room with a big number is Andrew, who's a boy. Andrew's also in Stitch Wraith, which he's a boy. And the other boy in Stitch Wraith is Jeremy or Gregory or something. And he's a boy. And the Stitch Wraith is supposed to be like a Golden Freddy stand-in for the Stitch Wraith line. In other instances where Golden Freddy might be a character, they are usually a boy. So this weird obsession with the spirit in Golden Freddy / the Vengeful Spirit having to be a girl doesn't make much sense. It's because there's a name in, like, so this is the thing. It's in the fourth closet. There is a character named Cassidy who is a black-haired girl who possesses Bonnie. And then in the logbook, we see a black-haired girl getting a cake handed to her from the puppet. So a lot of people made this decision that that one picture connected to that one name and description means that Cassidy has to be a girl because that's who's getting the cake from the puppet, just like Happiest Day Memory. Like, that would be the one and only time that the puppet could have ever handed a cake to anybody. Period. Also, the animatronics, all the other animatronics featured in the logbook are usually the animatronics as themselves doing their job. So one of the jobs of the puppet was to give gifts and stuff to children. Giving a cake to a child is literally the puppet's job. That isn't Charlie handing a cake to a dead child, that is the puppet handing a cake to a child. Like, I don't get it. I don't under that's what I mean. Is like people take canon events or the smallest canon event and demand that it's continuity because one little thing lines it up. And I understand that is theorizing. That's how we theorize. But people are doing it in the reverse order of how I think it should be done. That would make more sense. Which is you see something in the games and then you use information in the books to back up that theory. The problem is that they're using information from the books to force onto something in the games to then assume that that's the theory, and it's backwards. It's honestly backwards. The only person that's allowed to take something from the books and put it in the games and demand that it's continuity is Scott. And that's what he's done. He gave us the name of William Afton in the books, and then he told us it again in the games to confirm that that character connects over. Same thing with Charlie. Same thing with Susie being Chica. He did it once in the books, and then he redid it in the games to let us know that they're shared. But some people, when they theorize, go, well, this, and this, he said was the same, so that means this, and this can be the same. And it's like, no. If that was the same, he would have put it in the games. Like, that's the thing. Scott, people take it one way, but Scott showed us a different thing. Scott basically showed us, hey, if it carries over, I will show that. Like, if it's the exact same, I will show that. I will let you know that. The name Mike is in the books as Gordon Freddy, but Mike in the games is William Afton's son. So I theorized that Cassidy, since the name Cassidy is in the books, it would belong to a different character in the games, just like Mike did. It becomes the other Afton kid. That makes sense. That the two Afton kids that aren't in the books, their names are still used in the books as two different characters, Golden Freddy and Bonnie. Who, if you combine Golden Freddy and Bonnie together, what do you get? You get Spring Bonnie. You take Golden Freddy, mix it with regular Bonnie, you get Gold Bonnie or Spring Bonnie. Which, who is Spring Bonnie? William Afton's favorite animatronic and the one that he uses to kill things with. So his two kids' names in the books go to the two characters that would combine together to be his character. Boom. Now we know for a fact, thanks to the games and the books, that Cassidy Afton is the name of Crying Child. See how I did that, guys? That's actually the same way that other people do theorizing, and it's the wrong way. To be fair, I don't actually think that... I could use that as proof, right? How I did that. I had something in the game continuity, the Cassidy name in the blog book, and I had information from the games that made me believe that it went to a specific character in the games, and then I found helping information in the books to solidify that theory. I didn't take information from the book and then create a theory around it using extra information from the games. You can go one way, not the other. In my opinion. If other people do it the other way, it's... You do your theorizing, but the problem is when you do it the other way around, you have more chances of it being wrong. Any questions? Like I said, when I make an actual video about this, it'll be more concise. Here's continuity, here's canonicity, here's fan-made, here's hot garbage. This is how they interact with each other. These two don't interact with these two at all. These two interact with this one in a specific way, and it doesn't interact with this one at all because in order to do this one, you have to just completely ignore everything else. So... You guys got anything to say? I've just been rambling for like the last 15, 20 minutes to you guys. All right, time to take questions from the audience. I'm opening myself up to questions. Anyone want to talk to me about questions? Got anything that they want to debunk me on or anything like that? I'm here for the next, I don't even know how long. What time is it? Next hour and 20 minutes. So the movie is its yes. So the movie yes, just like the books, the movie is its own continuity. Um, Again, things that happen in the books can, I mean, in the movie can be related to the games, but we know that it's a retelling and it's not an actual one for one either. Hence why it takes place in a different year, for one. The characters who are so so in the movies, Mike is not the son. Mike is the main character, just like he is in FNAF 1, but Mike is no longer the son of William Afton. Instead, Mike is potentially the son of nobody, has no connection. He is just the brother of one of the kids that William Afton kidnapped, that he kidnapped and murdered. Um, and that's it. He is also the sister to, and the brother to Abby. Does Scott do interviews often? Also, why Daco? He's only ever done 2 interviews. He might have done. I think he did a couple more back in when it first started, but he's only ever really done 2 interviews. And why Daco? So Daco got his first interview because when Ultimate Custom Night came out, Scott made a bet with Daco that if Daco was able to beat 50-20 mode, or yeah, 50-20 mode. Is it 50-20 mode? Is it really 50 animatronics? 50-20 mode. What up, Jack? Then he would get a 1 hour interview from Scott. So they did it. And it was one of the most watched pieces of content on Daco's channel ever. So when the 10-year anniversary was coming around, we everyone wanted another interview from Scott, and so Scott decided that it would only be right that the next interview he did after like 6 or 7 years would be with Daco again. So Daco has built his entire career essentially off of FNAF at this point. When you think of FNAF, you think of 3 specific people. Or now it's 3 specific people, but back then it was well, yeah. When you think of FNAF, all the way from 2016 on, when you think of FNAF, you think of 3 main people. You think of Markiplier, you think of Daco, and you think of MatPat. Those are the big 3 of the FNAF universe. Back then, Markiplier not so much anymore. He's kind of waved back. He doesn't like watching the lore side of things. He just likes playing the games and getting some lore from the games, and that's it. So he's never read books. He might have watched the movie, but he's never read the books. He's never done, anything like that. He's just played the games, and that's been about it. And he ignores lore videos and lore discussions and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so. Bro, actually, it's 452-136. You think it's 452-136? That would be wrong. Actually, that is an impossible lineup, sir. You were incorrect on putting 5 there. 5 can potentially go between 2-1, but more than likely 5 comes after 1. It should be 421-536. Ultimate Custom Night. But actually, lore is true. What lore? What do you mean? There's nothing in the lore that tells us that 5 would come before 2. That's impossible. Impossible. Now, I will give you this. Elizabeth's death could potentially come before 2. Okay? Elizabeth's death could come before 2, but the actual events of 5, you going to sister location, should be after 1. Because you have to remember, the second 5 happens. Trying to do a timeline layout, right? The second that 5 happens, Mike is now on a clock. There is no Evan Afton, so I don't know what you're talking about. There is a Cassidy Afton or a Dave Afton. There is no Evan Afton. But Cassidy or Dave Afton, depending on which name you give him, did indeed die in 1983. That is true. I do believe that myself. I also believe that the actual MCI occurred in 1983 during the time period that, as I call him, Cassidy was in his coma from being bit. I believe that William Afton uses the coma as a cover to have an alibi for the murders, causing Henry to get arrested and go to jail for 4 years until 1987, when and this is also my headcanon on this, I believe 1987 is when Elizabeth Afton dies, and that emotional turmoil causes William to ignore the repercussions of doing the thing and donning the yellow suit again to kill 5 more children. What up, Michael Afton? Killing 5 more children, causing the police to realize that William Afton is actually the culprit and not Henry, causing Henry like button, imploding the sub button if you like this content. Thank you, Jimmy Punk. I like that one. Yes, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't yet. We're trying to get to 600 subscribers. Anyways, I believe that William Afton dons the suit again in 1987 after the emotional turmoil of losing Elizabeth and kills 5 more kids, because that's how Afton deals with his emotions. And it gives evidence to the police to realize that Henry was falsely accused, and they let Henry go, and they search for William. William goes on the lam. He hides in the bunker. And he uses the vents between the FNAF 1 location and the bunker to then disassemble the animatronics, to take their endoskeletons into the sister location, to melt them down for the remnant, to inject them into the Funtime animatronics. Later on, he then gets sealed into the wall. And later on, Michael finally finds the note or the message that was left behind for him from William to go into the sister location. No matter what we know for a fact is in FNAF 3, you're literally playing as self-possessing Michael Afton. We know that. We know from the security logbook that Michael Afton is alive and is the security guard for Fazbear Frights, which makes him a zombie. It literally makes him a zombie because the events of Sister Location has to happen before FNAF 3. Plain and simple. So Michael dies and then reanimates because of the remnant injected in himself allows his soul to possess himself. In a weird remnant mess, right? So that's 6. I mean, that's FNAF 3. And then that moves on to FNAF 6 when, again, as a zombie person, he runs a FNAF franchise for a week, gathering up all of the salvaged animatronics and then burning them in a big fire. In Sister Location, his little sister, along with others, murder him. Technically, yes, they do murder him. Yes. Actually, it is believed now that it's potentially the Mimic that murders him and not Elizabeth. There is some belief that the Mimic could have actually been pretending to be Elizabeth and using Elizabeth. He has Elizabeth Afton. There is Michael Afton, Cassidy Afton, Elizabeth Afton, and they are in that order, age-wise. If you believe the Cassidy Afton theory like I do. Or his name's Dave. He's either Cassidy or Dave. And then his father tries murdering him in FNAF 3. Yes, but he's also an animatronic thing. I don't know. It's a big old thing. I think William. Well, there's no proof that William actually murders Michael, because one can't. They're both possessed, right? They're both possessed at this point. It's me, the one you should not have killed. Wait, what? All of Golden Freddy's lines combined is "It's me, the one you should not have killed." Wait, when does he say "the one you should not have killed"? What line is that? Actually, here's the thing: the "It's me" got debunked in the week before. All of the animatronics can say the words "It's me," and it's explained in the week before that the actual animatronics pre-possession have the voice line, "It's me, Freddy," or "It's me, Chica," "It's me, Foxy," or "It's me, Bonnie." Like, they all can say "it's me." It's part of their coding. And that the spirits are only able to speak with the pre-programmed lines. So that's why they say "it's me," but they don't say the name of the character that they inhabit, because they are not that character. So they just use the "it's me, it's me, it's me," and they like do it in different ways to try and, be menacing or whatnot. But every animatronic in the week before actually uses the lines "it's me" at different times. I like Charlie. She seems chill in the books. She is a robot. Dark Haunted Golden Freddy. I don't know what that is. Bulbasquirtle. So let me know what that is, because I have no idea what that theory is. Killing Charlie is such a William Appleton thing for him to do. I think so. Charlie's death. So here's the thing: is I like to think that a lot of William's killing is associated with with his inability to handle his own emotions. Is from UC. Oh, yeah, it's me, the one you should not. Oh, yeah. Greetings from the one you should not have killed. Blah 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 blah. It's from the vengeful spirit, which is believed to be Golden Freddy, which in my case I believe to be Dave Emily, because we don't actually have a last name for Henry, so I've just started using Emily to give the character a last name. But Dave Emily, I believe, is Henry's son. If you guys don't know, go watch the video. I did it a couple weeks ago. If you haven't watched that video yet, go watch that video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff. But yeah, I believe that Vengeful Spirit is Dave Emily, who is Henry's son and Charlie's twin brother. There's a lot of proof. There's a lot of evidence for it. There's a lot of evidence against it. But at the end of the day, I do think that Vengeful Spirit is Henry's son, which makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. It would explain why Old Man Consequences, who is potentially Henry, tells the spirit, is so worried about the Vengeful Spirit that they stick around long enough to entice them to rest their soul. And then when you go into the Red Lake to rest your soul, and you drop all the way down to the bottom of it, you get that image of what either looks like an angel with his arms open and a flashing screen behind them, or it looks like a person with two smaller people that they're holding. I think it's the latter. I think it's Henry holding his two children, who are all finally at rest. And that's why we never really see, after Ultimate Custom Night, we never see a reference to Vengeful Spirit, Charlie, or Henry again. Now, some people want to think that the Red King, or whatever he is, in the Princess Quest machines is Henry or Old Man Consequences. I don't see it. It doesn't really make sense. It's their gold. They needed another monochrome character, so they made a red character, and that's just the long and the short of it. Nightmare Freddy said, "I am remade, but not by you, by the one you should not have killed." Yeah. How do you know Charlie's a robot? It's in the second book. or in the fourth closet. It's in one of the books tells you that Charlie is a robot. Charlie is an animatronic. Charlie is a here's actually the thing. Charlie is a very tiny little robot girl. But she also, in like some kind of mech suit driving bullshit, is also multiple robots across different age periods that Henry built to hold the consciousness of Charlie and allow her to grow up, even though she died at 3 when she was kidnapped by William. He built an animatronic version of her and then multiple other versions of her. And what happens is whenever she's supposed to like age up, her little self is taken out of her old robot form and put into the new one to then be taken over. And then like her programming kind of like smudges the memories between the two animatronic bodies, so she remembers like growing into the new one instead of it just being like all of a sudden she's bigger. Like, watch all FNAF MatPat vids, then it won't take that long. Yeah, exactly. I've told Dabs to do that before. I told her to just go. You can start on like the 4th or 5th theory and just move on from there. He called Old Man Consequence in the files of the game the Red King. No, he didn't. I've never heard that. I've never once heard that, cameraman. Can you pull that up and put it in the Discord? In the FNAF Theories Discord, pull up the proof of that, because I've never heard that from anybody ever. This almost sounds like my last part, the hot garbage one, where someone made up something and spread it around, and other people just believe it because it makes theories work. Unless you can show me proof of that, go for it. I don't have a Discord. Well, send. I don't know, man. Pull it up as a link. Pull up the official link and put it in the chat, and I'll look at it. Because as of right now, that's not something that I believe. Like, I've never seen a reference. That seems like something that somebody like MatPat, John FNAF, or Daco or somebody would have talked about. ID Fantasy, somebody would have talked about this at some point, and I've never seen any other theorist reference this. I've never seen it been referenced in the Reddits or anything else. I don't believe that Old Man Consequences is the Red King. He could be. I mean, if he is, that's fine, but even if he is, that doesn't mean that the princess in Princess Quest is Golden Freddy. And that's another thing that some people do. They say, well, Princess Quest tells us that Golden Freddy is a girl because the princess is a girl, so that means Golden Freddy has to be a girl. And it's like, no, it doesn't. Because Scott even debunked that, because some people were like, well, in the game files from Security Breach, it was referenced as Cassidy or whatever in the game files, and Scott himself made them go in and delete that because he's like, no, it's not. He was like, remove that. That is wrong. Because they thought it was going to be, they thought it was, and Scott Stevens said this in his second interview with Daco, that he was just giving them breadcrumbs of things that he said needed to be added to the game. And they ended up making their own story to connect those pieces that he gave them. And unfortunately, it was the wrong story. And he's kind of had to change a little bit. But he also did get them to remove some parts after the game was moved. Which, obviously, damage was done. But at the same time, yeah, once they find it in the game files, they run with it, even if Scott himself doesn't confirm it. That's why we get names like Glitch Trap and Burn Trap and Scrap Trap. Like and subscribe, or else FNAF 4 will be a reality for you. Good God, Jimmy Punk. Don't you put that on anyone, man. But yeah, if you can give me actual proof of that, put it in the chat or something like that. I would love to see it, because I have never seen a reference to that. So we will wait. If no proof has been given by the end of the stream, guys, I will tell you that probably falls under our 4th category of hot garbage. And as of right now, I can't use that as an example. It's like the name Chris. It's something that somebody made up at some point, passed it off as real information, and now a bunch of people think that it is true information. All right, Dabs, have a good night. Always appreciate you and everything that you've done for the channel and everything that you will do. And Sire Squawk covered it in one of his Help Wanted 2 videos. Okay. That's cool. I'll have to check out Sire Squawk. I think I've seen one of his other videos, but one of his other videos was also, about the logbook, and he was wrong. So people can be wrong, or it can be fed wrong information. If he did do it, then I'll look it up and I'll see. But as of right now, I have no information. I've never seen any other theorists confirm or talk about it. The author or creator is wrong when they... Yeah, so that's a thing that I run into on the Reddit all the time when I'm talking about the character who I think is Dave, that the dead child that's in the golden suit in the parts room in FNAF 4. A lot of people are like, those are wires or fabric or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's literally in the design of hair, disheveled, poking out of a suit that is distended like it's filled with something. To me, and Matt Pat even thought at one point in time that it was a dead child in that suit too. Like, it's been theorized before, and now people just don't like it because it throws off what that suit does, what that body does in that suit, is it does one of two things. Well, actually, it does two things. One, if that body is Dave, or is the first MCI victim, as I believe that it is, that means that the MCI takes place in 1983. It needs to be a real show. One, it makes the MCI occur in 1983, not 1985. And people want to think that's 1985 because the book, which only has one incident, not two like the games, MCI 1, that the MCI takes place in 1983. That's what I believe. I believe it takes place in 1983 because it makes a lot of sense. The book, there's more than one. Well, the DCI, so FNAF 2 has its own death thing happen, right? Unless, hear me out. So here's another theory on top of all the other theories, and that is there's another theory that I have that is the DCI doesn't exist. Which is hard to do because there is that mini game in FNAF 2 where you wander around. They're easy to pull. Have you ever played with Kinects? Because he does say, because in FNAF 3, or is it FNAF 2? In FNAF 2, they do talk about Mangle and how Mangle is specifically designed to be a take apart, put back together animatronic. So I assume that it's probably designed the same way as Kinects, and it's probably all like magnetized together. And that's why they're able to pull it apart and re-put it together in different ways. They're all magnetically connected. And maybe those magnetic connections can also send signals. And that's how Mangle is still a controllable, or is like still a movable. Was that the Strider of 87? Well, that's the thing. So the Bite of 87... So there's some weird terminology used in FNAF 2, FNAF 3, FNAF 1 that makes it difficult to really pinpoint anything. Because in FNAF 2, they talk about the old location that was shut down years ago. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't consider 2 years, well, less than 2 years, years ago. I consider that a couple years ago, or a little while ago, or a little over a year ago. I don't believe that if you have a death in 87, if you have a death in 85, June of 85, and then you have another set of deaths in 87, or you have the new restaurant open in 87, you wouldn't use the terminology, the events that happened years ago, because that implies, 3 plus or 4, that's, or long time ago, several years ago. It kind of all rolls together. It happened a while ago, multiple years ago. If it's just 2 years ago, then it's, you know, the event that happened a couple years ago, or and that's the thing is that the implication of the news articles from FNAF 1 implied that they tried to keep the restaurant open for multiple years after the events happened, right? It wasn't like the events happened and they closed immediately. Like they were open for a while. In those news articles, they make it seem like they tried to keep that one open for a long time and it eventually failed, right? So I don't. That's why it's tricky for me. That's why FNAF 2 is tricky for me. Because it's like, we know that FNAF 2 takes place in 1987. We know FNAF 1 takes place in 92, 93, right? But FNAF 1 is apparently open, for one. Apparently it's open. But FNAF 2 is opening of a new location because the old location has been left to rot. But if FNAF 1 is the old location, then it's still running now. So did it close for a bit? FNAF 2 tried to open up somewhere else. It obviously closed after 2 weeks. And so they reopened FNAF 1, ran it for a while, and eventually it closes. Because that's the other thing. It's implied that it is now closed or a different location has been closed for a few years, right? But they tried to have it run for a while before it finally closed. So are these news clippings actually a premonition of what's going to happen after the events of FNAF 1? To crawl on walls like me. I don't think Ballora does. We never see Ballora crawl on walls, do we? I don't remember that. I thought she just spun in circles, ballerina style, around her place until you got in her way, until she caught you. What up, Finland? I chilling in bed with my cat. Ooh, that sounds like fun. FNAF AR. I question the continuity of FNAF AR. It's difficult to do it because there's so many animatronic variants in it that are clearly not in the actual games. So that one's a little tricky on me. A little tricky. Can it work? Yes. Should it work? Probably not. But yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, so FNAF 2 is a big mystery to me. FNAF 2, I would love to get more backstory on, and I think we do. I think we do get a lot of backstory on FNAF 2, but not where we think we do. We don't get it in the games. I am under the belief recently that Stitch Wraith's story, right? I believe that the Stitch Wraith storyline is a retelling / continuation of the FNAF 2 murders. I think it makes a lot of sense. The FNAF 2 location has to be somewhere else. Right? Has to be a different location than FNAF 1. It literally says brand new location. I know it says reopening, but I think that's because the other one closed down and they're opening up this new one. So it's a reopening, but in a new location. Well, when you're opening up a new location, you're going to separate yourself. So I think it makes sense to believe that the FNAF 2 location is where Into the Pit takes place in Taylorsville, Utah. Because you wouldn't want to stay in the same town. Now, if the murders did happen and the bite happened and everything else happened in that first location, then you would want to disconnect yourself from that and open your new location somewhere completely different. So you go across state. You open up your new location. You still have your business license for the state and everything. So you reopen in a new town, and more deaths happen. What about the withered animatronics? They brought them with them. We all know that. The withered animatronics come from the old location that was left to rot. They brought the withers with them to use for parts. And then once the FNAF 2 murders happened, then they scrapped the toy animatronics and decided to rebuild the withered animatronics instead. And then that's where we're in the FNAF 1 location now. right? But here's the kicker. I think they rebuilt the Withered animatronics in 87, 88, right? Um, After police investigations and everything else was taken, it was done with. I think in FNAF 2, you play as not the security guard that Ralph is talking to, but a whole different security guard that was just given the tapes by whoever's in charge of maintaining that location until they can shut it down fully, because right now they're just basically using it as storage until they can get the investigations and all the legalities out of the way. They have to leave that location there to just sit and be a storage unit for the toy animatronics for now and the other animatronics for now, while they get all their shit together to get the other location refurbished and ready for the animatronics. Because you wouldn't move the animatronics, broken as they are, you wouldn't move them until you had the new location ready for them. Then you get them ready, and then you open up again. So it would be a while. So those murders happen in the middle of summer, obviously, as is hinted to you by Ralph in the tapes. Welcome to your new summer job at Freddy Fazbear's Entertainment. You play in October or November, right? So clearly those tapes were not meant for you. Those tapes were meant for the other security guards. Ah, my eye itches. And we see an allusion to that in the FNAF movies, right? In the FNAF movie, where Mike is given a training tape that was clearly not made for him because it's a tape that was created for while the restaurant was still open. The only tapes that we know for certain were made for you is the tapes from FNAF 1, and the only reason we know that now is because of the week before. The week before tells us without a doubt that Ralph recorded those tapes for your character in FNAF 1 the week before you started working there. So right before we started playing is when those events happen, which lets us know that the FNAF 1 location was actually actively running while we worked there. The FNAF 2 location, on the other hand, exact opposite. And nothing gets moved. It's been set up for a party that is never cleaned up after. I don't pay. I mean, I miss memes all the time. I'm not a meme person for the most part. I don't actively search out memes, so if they don't come up on my feed or get sent to me, I don't really see them. I'm an old meme guy, not a new meme guy, so most of the memes I see are Smosh memes because I watch all the Smoshes who memed it content. So, anyways. But yeah, so we see FNAF 2, it more appears like it is a closed down location that's storing the animatronics, and you're just a guy who has been hired to be the night security guard to make sure no one breaks in and messes with anything or dies at this point. So I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. So Stitchline feels like it could be a retelling / continuation of the FNAF 2 murders. And if that's the case, it's awesome because we have literally nothing about that situation. So it would technically be the perfect thing to start a second game continuity on. Like this is what could have happened. And in this what am I trying to say? If that's the case, the Stitch line then runs its, operates as if the MCI never happened and only the DCI happened. So the Fredbear's Family Diner location would have existed, and the FNAF 1 location would have existed both in Hurricane, Utah, and then they opened up the FNAF 2 location in Taylorsville to expand the franchise, just in the same way that Chuck E. Cheese did, with the first 2 Chuck E. Cheeses being in San Jose and the third one opening in Sacramento. Similar franchising idea. You do 2 in the hometown, then your third one, you go a distance away, in this case, 110 miles, 110 plus miles for Chuck E. Cheese, 250 miles for Taylorsville, but that's because Utah is big, flat, and empty of people. So you'd have to go to the next big city, which would be over 200 miles away in Utah. But you go to the next big city and you open up your new franchise. Right? So that's why I think that could happen there, because then obviously it's a different set of kids. But it's also in a different location, which would explain why Into the Pit takes place in a different town than Hurricane, Utah. Yeah, all that stuff, which would be awesome because it'd be Scott's way of like letting us know what happened to those kids, because I believe the Stitch Wraith storyline ends with the kids like being like saved or whatnot, you know. At least figuring out what actually happened to him. And we see in the agony memory, they don't remember that it was William Afton. They think that it was they think that it was an agony beast, right? They think that it was this spring Bonnie monster situation. And that and so, you know, at first they don't know that William Afton is who killed them. They remember it as a monster because he was a monster in the suit when he killed them. So they're remembering their murders, but they're not remembering their murders correctly, because obviously they're children, and children don't remember things that well after they died. What if FNAF 1 takes place in August like the movie? It doesn't. If it does, well, it could. FNAF 1 could take place. No, FNAF 1 takes place in November. The murders take place in June. The murders in FNAF 1 take place in June, but the gameplay itself takes place in October, November, because it's on your check. It's like November 27th or October. Let me look. Hold on. Let me get confirmation here. One sec. Yeah, November 12th. November 12th. What if FNAF? What if FNAF? November 12th of Mystery Year. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so it takes place in November. That's the date. November 12th. Both of them are November 12th. So yeah. But the newspaper clippings in FNAF 1 say that it was June 25th that someone was captured and arrested. But it doesn't give a year. It just says when it happened. June 25th of a year. I personally think that the year is 1983. That whole event happened in obviously FNAF 1. I mean FNAF 4's year. Hold on, I gotta go. FNAF. Oh, hey, quit doing that. Do that. Yep. And then I also believe that yeah. So and then FNAF 2, you are a security guard in November, but the phones are for someone who started work in the summer. And that in the summer, in when I met you in the summer, no, In the summer is when the murders happened, too. So, there's all that. This is all that. This is all that. Yeah. Still at 598. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I don't think anyone new is here anymore. I think they were earlier, but not anymore. You guys suck. No, I'm just kidding. Yay. I did release the full gameplay video of the Into the Pit playthrough. So if you guys haven't watched that yet, go watch it. It's like 2.5 hours long. So if you just need some background noise of me playing a game, boom, put it on. Yo, I just heard news that FNAF movie 3's concept and early development is in progress. That's insane since they haven't even started filming FNAF 2. Would you rather get spring-locked or bit by Fredbear? Where am I getting bit by Fredbear, though? Probably still bit by Fredbear, but where am I getting bit? Am I going full frontal lobe missing, or... No, it didn't. What? What are you talking about, Jack? They haven't even started filming the second FNAF movie. Head? Ah. Well, I'm tougher than a small child. It probably wouldn't kill me. Foxy, on the other hand, is the one who's alluded to as being the actual lobe enthusiast. So I think I'd be okay with being bit by Fredbear. I got a stronger noggin than a 6-year-old, so... Do you watch The Wicked Makers? I do not. I don't know what that is. Yeah, no, the FNAF 2 movie has not even been started filming yet. It's starting soon, but they haven't started filming it just yet. So. They made a withered Foxy animatronic and a Springtrap animatronic. Nice, that's cool. My knees. I'm gonna be ending soon because my legs are like, end soon, please. And Withered Freddy. Ooh, nice. And Withered Freddy. Yeah, nice. But no, yeah. So anyways, yeah. So our main topic, obviously, we've discussed for the most part: continuity, canon, canonicity, fandom, and hot garbage. Mini Withered Freddy. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all down here in the great blue sea. That was the deep blue sea. The deep blue sea. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all down here in the deep blue sea. I thought it was the deep blue sea. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Oh, big blue sea? I thought it was the deep blue sea. Because deep blue sea is the common phrase, usually. So let's do this again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all down here in the deep blue sea. Starting to get into like a Winnie the Pooh style singing. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all down here in the deep blue sea. I've got... My tops are made of rubber, my bottoms are made of springs. I bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce and fun, 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 fun. The best things about Tiggers is I'm the only one. The best things about Tiggers is I'm the only one. Have you played Dark Deception? I don't think so. Now watch that episode for ages, right? F is for fun, who do stuff. F is for friends, who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all down here in the deep blue sea. Christopher Robin. Hoo 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 hoo. Yeah. My top's made of rubber, bottom is made of springs. I bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce and fun, 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 fun. The best things about Tiggers is I'm the only one. Ha ha. That's not one of my better voices, but you get it. Ha ha. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere and anytime at all. Huh? Down here in the deep blue sea. I'm a cat person. What about you guys? I like them both. They did Winnie dirty with the horror movie. Dude, they did a Mickey Mouse horror movie too. He's a public domain character now, so they can make horror movies about them. I'm a either one. I like cats sometimes, and I like dogs sometimes. I like dogs because they get super friendly and they're big and fluffy and they'll just like be all over you. But I love cats too because they just fucking chill and they can be fluffy and scratchable also. Dope either way, man. Can't go wrong with a pet. Ferrets are cool. I used to own some ferrets. I used to have 2 ferrets named Athena and Aphrodites. I used to have parrots. We had a parrot named Harley. Big old parrot. That's where I got my parrot. That's where I got my parrot voice from. Is me learning how to sound like Harley, a parrot that I used to have. That's why I go, "Arr! Hey boys and girls, Arr! Harley. Hey, it's Harley. Polly want a cracker. Arr! Polly want a cracker. Polly want a cracker." That's where I got it from. Was listening to my bird. My profile pic is my cat Trevor. He's the cutest. Nice. It's 2 because Fluff, but dog has Fluff and is friend. They both can be friends. You can get friendly. You can get friendly cats. Right, cats are enemies. Right, cats are enemies. Right, afraid of cats. I'm afraid of cats. Afraid of the rats. Right, I'm afraid of the rats. Right, I'll live on a dog. Right, dogs are friends. Dogs are friends. Give me a dog. Give me a dog. What is that? What me? Have you never heard my bird voice before? Right, that's your problem. You should know. Right, bird voice. Bird voice. If I wasn't on screen, you would not realize that it was coming out of me. You would think that I owned a bird. Right, he owns a bird. Right, I'm over here. I'm on the screen. Right, here I am. Right, hear me. I'm in a cage. He won't let me out. He won't let me out. It gets worse the longer I do it. Alright, you can say that again. Ooh, 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 ooh. Boom, 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 boom. But it broke out of his cage and flew away. Like, so, yeah, they will do that. They will fly way the fuck away if you don't clip their wings. Right, to the open skies. Cause I'm free. Right, free falling. Right, free falling. Yeah. Cause I'm free. Free falling. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Have a good one, cameraman. Thank you for showing me your proof. I guess leave the proof gathering to me. Tells me one person one time did one video on it. See, this is a problem with wikis, is that they talk about this shit too like it's proof. There's no proof in this. I get that this is fandom, but it's wrong. Top contributors. Yeah, Charlie. Yeah, Charlie did. Yeah, that everybody knows. So that's a problem because there's zero confirmation. There is zero proof that Old Man Consequences is the Red King. Just because they are similarly colored, people want to. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. When canonicity and continuity are not the same thing. And in this, there's nothing actually because these are both game related and nothing to do with books or anything at all. This is just someone going, red character red. No, Charlie is the last in the seven. Five Nights at Freddy's named Freddy. Yes, I did know that. See, that is proof. That's in the games. That is clearly evidential stuff. But anyways, but no. Charlie was by what we learned from the gravestones in Help 1 and 2. We believe that the gravestones are a way of indicating who dies in what order. And the gravestones tell us that Susie dies first. Old man is a foxy bro. I'm kidding. No, but he does have like an alligator head, right? He's an old man fishing. That's it. But for some reason, people are like, he's red, so that's going to be the same guy. And it's like, no. Right? Exactly. But no, yeah, because like the king is because there's a princess, right? And the king, the king could be only so many colors, and a color that stands out well in a video game like that is red. Like, Chica is the first one of the serial killer kills. I do actually believe, and if you watch my Dave theory, you'll learn about it. I believe Dave Emily is the first actual kill. The one you should not have killed is the first kill, and that's why he is the one you should not have killed, because he started it all. The father of Charlie, I believe Henry Emily is the father of both Charlie and Dave, vengeful spirit, the one you should not have killed. Go watch my video if you guys haven't yet. You need to. Everybody needs to go watch that video. That video did not get the traction I was hoping for. Same head shape of 8-bit Foxy, or any 8-bit Foxy, or the Crocodile Kid in the Fnaf 3 minigames. Kids' souls are free. Yeah, so, What if Old Man Consequences is Ralph? Wouldn't that be some shit? Spring locked. Oh man, that would hurt so bad. It would be It would be the most painful thing you experienced in your very short life, because your life would not last for much longer. But yeah. Old Man Consequences is Helpy. I'm not on that one. I can't believe that the Five Nights at Freddy's wiki, the fan wiki, actually has this audacity in it. Let me see this. No, I'm not gonna bother with it. But now I know that I can't rely on the wiki. I'm glad to know I can't rely on the wiki either. The wiki can be wrong. Yes, ring locked. Apparently not. Susie stuffed first. Yes, Susie was the first one in their animatronic body, like stuffed in. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end it here. Tomorrow we're gonna be playing some more Roblox. So if you guys are ready to play Roblox, tomorrow will be the day, 12:30. Literally 21 hours from now, or 22 hours from now, whatever. Old man has really red tables that speak, and his fishing rod is a chair, but the 8-bit makes it look like a croc. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, Roblox. Roblox tomorrow, guys. I don't know what we're playing yet. Maybe some Doomspire. Maybe some pick a side. Pick a side for sure. I got some dope weapons now because I AFK'd in the game for like ever and I got a couple of the big guns and stuff. If you guys haven't done that yourselves and you can go AFK and pick a side, do it. Go AFK for a bit and get your coins. Blocks Hunt. We did play Blocks Hunt last time, and I was pretty fucking dope. I'll tell you what. Played as the Seeker one time and found 3 people, and I played as played as a hider 3 times and didn't have to move the entire match all 3 times. Picked my spot, never moved. Yeah, I was AFK and pick a side for way over 12 hours. I got 10,000 coins out of the sit down, so I was at over 10k. Used it to buy a couple of cool weapons that I liked. So yeah. In the books, if you got spring locked, you got crushed to death or you drowned. It would puncture your lungs and would make it impossible for you to make sounds and would drown you in your own blood. Anyways, guys, love your faces. I will see you guys in the next stream tomorrow playing some Roblox. If you guys haven't yet, go check out the latest video. It is the full gameplay of Into the Pit. So if you guys missed that, if you weren't part of the channel yet when I did that the first time live on stream, you guys can go watch the full run of it as a video now. Or you guys can go and watch any of the theories that you haven't watched yet. I got 2 so far. The switching the name, the logbook names around. Go watch that anyways. It's like 3.5 minutes, guys. Go give it some view time. And then also the 13-minute video about how that character who I named Dave is also Henry's son and Charlie's sister, and how that does stuff. So KGR was me. Cool. Anyways, go check that out, guys. Love your faces, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.